One of the paper 2 questions that we will be doing today is what you're seeing on your screen, and this is January 2018. All right, so you guys have January and June. You have a lot of past paper questions. I have some past paper questions. Those of you who are interested, just WhatsApp me, let me know, and I can arrange to send them to you. All right. So this question, we're actually going to come back to this question. Look at what they ask us to do. Prepare a classified statement of financial position, and they actually put balance sheet in brackets here for you guys. Sometimes they do not do that. All right, because you're actually supposed to know international accounting terms. For the year ending 31st December 2017, using the order of liquidity. So we will look at this question, but we're going to look at this question last. So the balance sheet can be horizontal, it could be vertical, it could be simple, it could be classified, and then it can also be in order of liquidity or order of permanence. And permanence meaning that you're going to put the most permanent thing to the top. So that's something that you're not going to move, you're not going to sell easily. It's going to take you some time to even sell it if you have to sell it. All right. So most permanent thing goes on top, and a good way to know how permanent something is you can look at the value. So you're going to see land and building is obviously going to be more expensive than a motor vehicle or motor vehicles, right? So when you're looking at permanence, you're going to have non-current assets to the top, current assets. Then you're going to have your non-current liability. Then you're going to have a current liability. Actually, you're going to have a capital, non-current liability, current liability. When we are working with liquidity, it's going to be reverse. And the liquidity has to do with how quickly something can be turned into cash. So when they say order of liquidity, that's what they're talking about, how quickly something can be turned into cash. Cash is the most liquid because it's already in the format of cash. So when we're working with liquidity, cash comes first. Then you have maybe inventory or receivables or, all right? So we would go through that. We're going to go through this question last. Let's look at this one, Sharon Kelly. I hope you guys are seeing it clearly. If not, please refer to the what I would have sent you via email, right? So Sharon Kelly runs a medical laboratory, and I love this question because it's not the typical question. I went quite back to 2008 to find a challenging question because I feel like once you can do the more challenging question, it builds your confidence, and once you can do the challenging question, easier questions are a breeze, right? So Sharon Kelly runs a medical laboratory. She records the following: incomplete opening inventory at the start of an accounting year. And I like to tell my students, please don't read for sports. Read and understand what it is you're reading. So if you have to stop in between and ask yourself, what are they really saying there? Do that. All right. So she records the following incomplete opening entries at the start of her accounting year. So this is her information at the start of the year. All right. And it's incomplete. So what are they asking us to do? And another good tip, guys, is to look at the requirements. Just read the heading of the question and then go read the requirements and then go back to your question. You're supposed to have reading time. Use your reading time wisely. Read through the questions and actually indicate to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this question first, this question second. Actually have a plan in your head when you use your reading time. All right. So just like with comprehension, a good comprehension tool is to read the requirements first and then go read the passage. I find it to be very helpful, even for when you're doing your exams. Okay. So they ask us what? Calculate Sharon Kelly capital as of November 1st, 2007. And this is something they like to give you guys. So get familiar with it. know how to find the capital if they don't give you the capital. This is also linked to the accounting equation. Yes, you should learn the accounting equation, and it says assets equals capital plus liability. So once you know what is your total assets, you know what is your total liability. It's just a matter of switching around the equation to find out what is the capital. So and this is 3 marks. So the real trick here is knowing what is an asset, what is a liability. That is the real trick here. All right. An asset is anything that the business owns. A liability is anything that the business owes. All right. So let's see. Cash is going to be an asset. The building is going to be an asset. The medical tools are going to be an asset. Accounts receivables is an asset. Office furnishings will be asset. Stock of medical supply as well is going to be assets. And assets normally have debit, opening, and closing balances. There are occasions where you're going to see a bank balance not being a debit, opening or closing balance, and that is when you have a bank overdraft. Just as we can see here, they have a bank overdraft. What that means is that they would have spent more money than they had in their bank account, and because they have a good relationship with the bank will lend them money to make whatever payments they have to pay, and then they have to pay back the bank within a short period of time. So a bank overdraft is like a short-term loan. All right. So what is your answer for what is the capital? Those of you who did the question and didn't get a chance to WhatsApp me. So that would be your answer there. Right? I have capital equals assets minus liabilities, and it's just a matter of changing around the equation. All right, so I have assets, the original equation says asset equal capital plus liability, but you're going to have to change around the equation sometimes, right? Depending on what they ask you for.